In this video, we're going to get started creating some basic types of geometry using the command line and the toolkit. Just to start us out, you can see that I've enlarged my top view. So I'm looking at my XY plane, and I've got these reference lines here for green and red that are referencing my Y plane with green and my X plane with red. And again, I can pinch or pull two fingers together or apart in order to zoom in or zoom out of this space. We may want to zoom in a little bit on this just to see closer what we're doing. In the first video, I introduced the command prompt as well as multiple ways of creating geometry through the curve menu dropdown, as well as through the toolkit by coming over to these tools and hovering or clicking and holding to see an extended menu for them. I'll start out by coming up here to my curve menu at the top, and we're going to start out just by creating a basic line. And so we'll go ahead, I'll drop this down, I'll go to line, and I'll go to creating a single line. And this first line that I want to make, I'm not super concerned with where I want it to be created within the scene, but I do know that I want to create a vertical 3-inch line. So in that instance, now that I've gone into this command, I can look to my command prompt, and I can see that once I've selected that command from my dropdown here, my command prompt has already updated. And now that I'm within this command, it's telling me what I need to do next. So once you've started a command, try to become in a habit of looking back to the command line to best understand what Rhino is asking you to do next. So for the first step of this line, Rhino is asking me to indicate where I want the start of this line to go. And then following that, I've got a bunch of words in parentheses, or if you're in a Mac version, these might show up as smaller toggle options underneath where it says start of line. And so these are all different attributes to this line that I could indicate. I don't need to worry about any of them just yet because they're a bit further down the road from where we are right now. So for now, I know that I want to create a y-axis line going vertically that's 3 inches long. And so to get me started with that, I'll go ahead and click to place the start of my line. And so the command prompt is now updated that I have done this first step. And I sort of arbitrarily clicked somewhere within my screen, and that's fine. Doesn't matter where it's located just yet. And now it's asking me to place the end of my line. Since I know what I want from this line, I could go ahead and try and use my best guess of where that might fall on this grid for doing a 3-inch vertical line. But I can plug in more precise factors into Rhino in order to detail what I want my line to look like. So in this instance, before I give the end of my line, I'm going to type into my command line 3, the number 3 on my keypad. And when I type any information into this command line, it's worth noting that you don't actually have to click into the command line. Regardless of where my cursor is, I'll redo that 3. Any text or information that I type in will automatically pick up in my command line up here in the top left. Once I put in that 3, I also have to follow that up by hitting the return or enter key. So anytime you input any sort of information into the command line, it always has to be followed up with an enter or return in order to confirm that I've input some additional information. So once I hit the enter key after I said that I wanted my line 3 inches long, I now see a change in the style of my line visually. I've got a shorter red line with a white extension that comes out of it. And so what that's showing me is Rhino saying, here's what 3 inches looks like. Now you have to tell Rhino where the end point of this line falls so it can decide where to, how to place it. So now you need to give it the orientation of the line. One thing that I'm going to do, because I know that I want a vertical line here. So one thing that I'm going to do is come down to my bottom menu, and I'm going to toggle on my ortho snap. And remember from the first video that ortho will lock us in at 90-degree increments. So I can move my line on any of these 4 sides still. It's still loose. I haven't clicked to place it just yet. So my command is not yet complete, but now I can easily do a horizontal or a vertical line. So I'll go ahead and drag my cursor up above this line, and I'll just have to click once more. And now my line is placed and the command has automatically ended itself, and my command prompt is now back to its starting point of being command and then blank.